Welcome to some special bonus video content that is designed to accompany our radio broadcast known as American Indian and Alaska Native Living. I'm Dr. David DeRose, the host and executive producer. I just finished a show with Mercy Ritte. You'll be able to listen to that in its entirety, a 1-hour radio show. But we've included some special video content. We're actually recording it right now after the show. We may include a little bit in this video presentation from things that were featured on the radio interview, but we want to especially highlight some bonus content. With that in mind, Mercy, one of the things that a lot of people have wondered about is how the Ahonaulu program came together. Tell us a little bit about the history of this exciting program on the island of Molokai.
Right, so initially, before Ahonaulu came together, I had mentioned that in the earlier recording that I had attended a school at Weimar Institute, health program as a student. And upon returning, I was just so excited to share all that I learned at that time, and decided that I wanted to help my friends and my family members. And I began going into their homes. They invited me to go into their homes. So I went into homes of my family members first, and then my church family. We met at church, and I just taught what I knew. I taught cooking classes, plant-based cooking classes. I gave many health talks. And from there, I started sharing in the community at different community venues, exactly that. A cooking class and some health talks.
Wow, so some pretty humble beginnings.
I think it was about 2 years, 2 years of volunteering in the community to do that. I started receiving invitations from schools to come and speak with the students.
Wow.
And so after those few years, I realized it'd be so neat to actually have a lifestyle program here in Molokai. And I was so impressed by the results my mom came home with after she attended the New Start program at Weimar Institute. And of course, I realized, we don't have the facility they have, but we can make do with what we have. And so I thought in my mind, okay, there's certain aspects I definitely want to include. And I, just started putting it all on paper, and I submitted it as a proposal to a funder, a grant, an organization to see if they would support this and be willing to fund the first Ahonaulu program. And they liked it, and they offered to fund the program. And so that's kind of how it started. And so the first year of this program, it was 4 weekend programs, was really just seeing if something like this could work on Molokai and adjusting along the way. So it was kind of like a trial type program, which grew into the 1 week Ahonaulu program.
It's an exciting background. And for those who heard the 1-hour interview or who will be listening to it, they may have wondered about the impact of the program on people's lives. We may include some of that footage right at this point from the radio interview.
You've heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I definitely feel the same in regards to health. It takes a community to build health in a community. We need everyone. We need everyone's help and support. We can't do it alone. They also appreciated the encouragement that they received from one another, positive words of encouragement and motivation to achieve their health goals.
This is just so powerful, because so many people have told me over the years, Mercy, that they know what to do or they feel that they should be doing better. And I think it's so empowering to hear other people just like you, other community members, the journey that they've been on, the challenges as well as the successes they've had. And like you said, this not only builds a sense of community connectedness, social connectedness, but it also really helps to boost people's self-efficacy. That if this neighbor of mine could do this, I think I could do it. And then they come together and actually do these things, because wasn't that what was happening in the program? Weren't people going through the program together, doing all these things together?
Yes. Yeah. So they cooked together. We had some gardening activities. They gardened together. They were out exercising together, walking together. We had massage classes and hydrotherapy classes, so they learned together. We sat in the lectures together, so everything was done together alongside one another. We learned together.
This is great. And tell us a little bit more, because I know folks are saying, look, we'd love to come out to Molokai, to Hawaii, and go through a lifestyle program, especially if it only costs us $175. But I know this was not a program just for anyone in the world. It's a special program for your community. And you had these local donors as well as other donors from outside of Molokai helping out. But give us some other sense of things that were impactful in your program that are kind of take-home lessons for people. I'm thinking about the coaching, for example. Is there a way that you could translate that into other environments?
Right. So that was something we added to this program, having a health coach, community health worker assigned to a group. I think that was such a powerful addition, because like we didn't just end the program and then now, okay, here you go. You learned all that you could learn, now go off and continue. The coach was an integral part, because they offered support beyond the 7 days, and it was almost like they were what do you call, like what I'm trying to say? Okay, so one comment we got, which was just kind of funny. So if you ever get an opportunity to come here to Molokai, to Kavanui, it's a beautiful location. And so you almost feel, as small as the island is, you almost feel like you're not on the island. And so when we left and departed, it was almost like going back into the real world. That's kind of like the comments we're getting, like, okay, back to the real world, back to family, back to home.
Uh-huh.
And often what can happen is you go back into your home and you're so excited and motivated, but making that shift in the home can be challenging. And so you kind of still need like someone to support you, someone to lean on during that time of challenge. And the health coaches were that individual that the participants could still lean on and seek help and support from throughout that transitional time, like going back into the home. And it sounds kind of funny, but it's like a real, I mean, it was very helpful. It was very helpful to have someone to lean on for the next 23 days.
This is great. This is great information. I think just helps people to think in terms of things they can do in their own community, their own tribal setting, their own urban setting, their own home. And one of the important messages I heard that grew out of all this is connect with people. Take time, listen to each other's stories, try to do things together, even if it's in a virtual environment. But we also want to talk about some of the actual results. Mercy, you presented these at the American Public Health Association meetings in 2020. Share with us some of the changes that you saw in the participants in your program.
Right. So so we had physical changes. We had changes in weight. In the 1 month program, we saw an average loss of 6.4 pounds of weight, reducing total weight of all individuals to about 189.9. That was one thing that we found. Also, reduction in waist circumference. There was a 2.3 inch average decrease of waist circumference. We also saw a reduction in the systolic blood pressure, a 7.7 drop in blood pressure, changes in cholesterol, a reduction of 24.7 in LDL cholesterol.
Wow. So a lot of these people didn't have values that were all that bad for many of these things, but in 1 month's time, a 1-week intensive program followed by once a week follow-up, just exciting to see what you could do with a volunteer staff and a series of community health workers with an indigenous population. So Mercy, just very exciting stuff.
In addition to these changes, I've observed like emotional change in individuals, just more positivity, and when we get together, there's this like energy, like higher energy level among the individuals, just higher motivation, sense of happiness and contentment, just really different from when they first entered the program. I know in the beginning, there was a lot of hesitation, fear and hesitation and uncertainty, and that all changed by the end of the program.
Wonderful. Well, if you want to hear the whole interview with Mercy Ritte, in addition to just listening to this bonus material, you'll want to go to AIANL.org. That stands for American Indian Alaska Native Living.org. So again, AIANL.org, and you can listen to the whole interview. If you want to connect with Mercy Ritte, that's MERCYRITTE @gmail.com. Mercy, we do need to run. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Success to each one of you. I'm Dr. DeRose.